Good answer. All right. Oh, I didn't see I'm back. Hello. All right. So we're back. Sonia Sharp with her first question on Facebook. Says, good evening, Uncle Brad. If your permit is approved and you get the social, can you work with the social? Absolutely. You're going to have to show you have a valid work permit. So hopefully you'll be able to show that in the mail when it comes in the mail, but start looking for a job. Absolutely. Let's see what else we got here. A lot of happy Thursdays, lots of squads up. Justin Henry with a question. I've been in the United States for years and my father wishes to file for me now. However, I'm over 21. What is the best way to go about this decision? The best way is to start an application. Okay, you've said you have been here for 3 years now. That's 3 years your father could have filed for you and didn't. That's 3 years of wasted time. File an I-130 visa petition at this very moment. If you were watching earlier in the show, you must have heard me say they're processing cases up to July 2014. You saw that on your screen. You may have even heard me say the priority date is based on the day in which the I-130 is filed. Had you filed that I-130 3 years ago by your father, your priority date would have been 2017. You'd be 3 years away. But now you're filing it 2020. People are jumping in front of you every day. File that I-130 right now. The quicker you file that I-130, the quicker you get on your date on the waiting list, the quicker you get a date on the waiting list. Eventually, you'll get a green card, even though it's years away. Don't worry about Donald Trump and his proclamations banning people because your green card's 5-6 years away. He can't end the category. There'll most likely be a new president within 6 months. And you don't have to worry about visa processing for about 4 or 5 years. Get the application in. That's the most important thing right now. Denisha Joseph with a pre-comment of the day. Brad, you got to remember, we always look forward to seeing you. I always look forward to seeing everybody too. Thank you. Cardo Hall. Hey, Brad. I'm married to a U.S. citizen, but my spouse is 30 years older than I am. Will that be a problem when adjusting my status at the interview? It is not a problem as long as you can prove it's a bona fide marriage. You're in love with her. That's the most important thing. If your spouse is 30 years older than you, I hope she has a good or he has a good heart. I'm only kidding. I'm sure you both will be able to keep up with each other. Goldsmith Joseph. When doing adjustment of status and concurrent filing, do you put all the forms first and all the supports at the end of the forms, or you do the evidence for each form after the form? No, put all the forms first. Make it as easy as possible for immigration. So when you're doing a concurrent filing of adjustment, put all your forms first. You start with an I-45 because you're filing the adjustment with the I-130, the I-864, then the I-765, the I-131. Then you do all of your evidence after. Shay Topaz, do you employ volunteers? I guess an intern. I don't know, but you know what you can do, Cher? You can. I'm not sure if you want to intern on Bradshaw Live. You want to intern at Spar and Bernstein, but you can email Lenny at lawsb.com. She's the firm administrator, and tell her you're part of Brad Squad. You want to volunteer. We'll see what we can do. Mode Tubashot. Hello, Uncle Brad. I have a question. Someone who has a removal order from the immigration court but didn't show up, can he appeal it and stay in the USA? If you didn't show up, you have to have a good reason why you didn't show up. If you knew about the deportation hearing and you just decided you didn't feel like going, you're not really going too far. Now you can try to make a motion to reopen based on, sad hardship reasons, humanitarian reasons, but there would be no appeal of that. If you showed up late to court because of traffic or because your car broke down or because they gave you the wrong date or time to show up and then you showed up and the judge says, aha, ordered you deported an hour ago, you're too late. Well, then, yes, you have to appeal that within 30 days. That would be a violation of your rights. If they send you a notice to a wrong address, and 5 years later, you find out they sent my notice to appear for deportation to my address in Corpus Christi, Texas, and I've been living in Newark, New Jersey for the last 5 years. I haven't gotten mail in Corpus Christi, Texas for 5 years. Well, then they violated your rights because they didn't give you proper notice of where and when to show up. Then you would be making an in absentia motion to reopen your case. So it really depends on what the actual situation is. There's no one thing fits all. With another pre-comment of the day, I'm eating my popcorn. I'm watching my favorite show with my favorite squad, watching our favorite lawyer. Life is good. All right, Denisha. All right, Sarah Murphy. If the current wait time for a 601 waiver is 6 to 8 months, do you think filing a mandamus at the 8th month is too soon? When would you advise a client to file? I would advise to file at about the 11th or 12th month. You got to wait closer to a year. I think a judge would say, got to give them a little time to deal with it. But I think at 1 year, it would be a violation of your rights. Nanumin Mba. I married a man as a fiance. A K1 and a K2 later, was a K1 or a K2? After the 2 years, discovered that he had a child and left the child's mother pregnant and was sending large amounts of money weekly. Now he filed for VAWA. Where does the immigration stand on these types of matters? Well, you apparently, I guess, are the aggrieved U.S. citizen. You're not the person getting the green card. And where immigration stands with aggrieved U.S. citizens is they don't care. What they want to see from the person filing the VAWA is two things. Did he marry you or she marry you for love? Was it a bona fide marriage? What was the abuse? What was it? Physical abuse? Was it extreme emotional abuse? Your side of the story never gets considered in a VAWA case. Whether you think that's right or wrong, people can argue. Actually, the Republicans wanted to change the law and have the U.S. citizen be able to give their side of the story on the VAWA, but it didn't work out that way. And still to this day, U.S. citizens immigrants who claim abuse from U.S. citizens, the U.S. citizens don't get to say their side of the story. And that's the bottom line. So it's the immigrant's word. The U.S. citizen doesn't even know that they file a VAWA application, and the person filing the VAWA application, they have the burden to prove abuse and that it was a bona fide marriage. Andrea Wilson with a question. It's a long one. Hey, Uncle Brad, I need to file for income tax returns jointly with my husband. However, he lives in the United States and I live in one of the U.S. territories. I have heard consistently that living in the territories and filing in the U.S. is unlawful. Can you clarify that for me and let me know if my husband files a joint tax return for us in the States will affect him filing to adjust my status later? I've actually been listening to this talk about filing where you live and work for 3 years now. I've been waiting for my. Well, I don't know what you mean by you're living in U.S. territory. You're living in Puerto Rico? You're living in the U.S. Virgin Islands? You and your spouse are not living together at the moment, but you plan on living together in the future. I think I need to know a lot more about your relationship and what your future intentions are before I tell you how to file your taxes. Jamie Reed has a question. My dad is an LPR. I'm classified as a minor under 21. My petition is approved and my priority date is current. I was advised by a lawyer that I would need to do a provisional waiver and go through the NVC. If you are out of status, the answer is correct. You do not need a provisional waiver if you're under 18, but if you're between 18 and 21, you may need it. If your dad's going to become a citizen soon and you made a legal entry into America, you may want to consider doing a provisional waiver or waiting for your dad to become a U.S. citizen, given the fact that we don't know when the embassies are going to reopen that would allow you to return. And we don't know what the deal is with coronavirus. We don't know what the deal is with Trump's proclamations yet. So I think, Jamie Reed, you need a consultation. Anita Nelson has a question. She's asking, hello, Uncle Brad. Do you know when I will hear from USCIS? After the interview, the officer said he had to bring the case to his supervisor if there's a need for them to investigate. And he also said I will hear from them in a month's time because he don't like taking cases. And it's now been 4 months, and now USCIS officers did not visit us in our home yet, and the I-130 and the I-45 is not approved. So, Anita Nelson with a question. She went on an interview and wants to know when she's going to hear from immigration. That is only a question that the Magic 8 Ball would know the answer to. Only this Magic 8 Ball, which has special powers, would know when would Anita hear from immigration? I don't know the answer, but maybe the Magic 8 Ball does. The Magic 8 Ball's reply, and the Magic 8 Ball is rarely wrong. Let's see if we can show it. It says, if we can see it, whoops, how am I doing it? What? Let me do it this way. There we go. It says, if you can see it, it says, my reply is no. And I think what the Magic 8 Ball is saying, is that I doubt immigration is going to come and investigate you. Most likely what will happen, what most likely will happen is that they're going to schedule you for a second interview and give you a Stokes interview. And that immigration officer probably lied to you and said, when they say they're going to pass it by a supervisor, that means they are not satisfied that you're in a bona fide marriage. So most likely you got to start preparing for a Stokes interview. And you'll probably get that interview somewhere between 9 to 12 months after your first interview. So that's what you really need. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. And by the way, you can call me at 1-800-529-5465 or 212-227-8933 outside of the United States. And you can get on my list so we can call you. I can call you and get you straightened out. Stargirl Mika. Brad, how is it people close to Trump getting the virus but not him? Something doesn't seem right. That is very true. The man's not walking around with any sort of protective gear. We just heard that his personal valet, I didn't know president had a personal valet, but I guess he does. I guess the valet is the guy who lays out his clothes and presses his suits and does his dry cleaning. The guy touching all his clothes has coronavirus. I heard that today. I honestly don't know how this man doesn't get coronavirus. I don't know. Boris Nelson got it. I don't know how he didn't get it. Let's see how else. Let's see what else we got here. Elizabeth Francis. Actually confirming what I said. She agrees with me about why people living at home are getting coronavirus. She says, Brad, too many families are living in one apartment and there's no way for them to quarantine as their circle is small. So once that person in the family has it, it's very easy to spread. That's what I think too. So I think that you have larger groups of families and different people living in close quarters. And I said Boris Johnson, Jill. I didn't say Boris Johnson. She just texted me Boris Johnson. But I believe I said Boris Johnson. But if I mispronounced Boris Johnson, I said Boris Johnson has it too. Maybe I said Doris Johnson. I don't know. I'll go back later and watch. Dorothy Martin. Hi, Mr. Bernstein. I would like to know if it's possible if my husband can file for my sister in Florida and her kids in Jamaica at the same time, or he can only file for her. Your husband cannot file for your sister. There's no such thing as husband filing for your sister. Oh, I said Nelson. Okay, I said Boris Nelson. Okay, got it. Thank you. It's Boris Johnson. Thank you very much, Jill. Sometimes I get tongue-tied. There's no such thing as brother-in-law filings. So, Dorothy, call me and let's figure out how to help your sister. 1-800-529-5465 outside of the United States, +1 212-227-8933. Hernandez Sammy on Facebook has a question. Good evening, Brad. My local USCIS office sent me a denial letter for my I-45 because my wife withdrew her I-130. I was asked to leave the country within 33 days. I have a VAWA pending for 1 year now before the denial. I've now filed a new I-45 based on the pending VAWA. How do I notify the local USCIS office that I have a pending VAWA and new I-45 though I believe they are aware of my VAWA. Do I still need to leave the country? No, you don't need to leave the country. No, you don't need to tell them anything. Just keep your new application pending. As long as you have a new VAWA pending, even if they look to put you in deportation, there's no judge that's going to deport you while you have a pending VAWA adjustment. Let's leave Facebook for a little bit and let's go over to YouTube and let's get some questions going on YouTube. Jeremy Goldberg, part of the crew, coming up with poetry for Bradshaw Live. Crew poetry. My poem. Oh, Uncle Brad, he is the best. When I watch a show, dang, I'm impressed. All right, Jeremy, crew poetry. We could have that as a new segment, 10-second segment, Jilly. Crew poetry. We can pass it off to the crew, poetry by the crew, Bradshaw crew, and bring it back to Bradshaw Live. Let's see what else we got here. Kenesha Palmer's watching from Maryland. Let's see if we have any immigration questions. Kay, God bless. Hi, Uncle Brad. I received a text message to say they received my adjustment of status packages, and I should have received my notice by mail by May 7th, but I haven't received anything yet. What should I do? Wait another week or two. As long as you have a text that they received it, you should be absolutely fine. So don't worry about that. Let's see. Andres R. I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm filing abroad. I'm living abroad, excuse me. I filed an I-130 for my 16-year-old son. Could I speed up some way if the USCIS takes longer before he turns 18? You can try to file a mandamus before he turns 18. You're a United States citizen. If you were a U.S. citizen when your child was born and you lived in the United States for at least 5 years after the age of 14, your son's an automatic U.S. citizen. So look into that as well. Spider-Man says, I'm not answering his question. Let's find Spider-Man's question. All right, Spider-Man with a question. Okay. Uncle Brad, I believe he's the best. I want to file citizenship after I complete 2 years, 9 months. So I need to stay continued in USA to get my green card by VAWA. Yes, you need to remain in the United States to get your green card by VAWA. The actual filing, if you remember yesterday, somebody filed after 2 years and 9 months and their citizenship was rejected because the real law is you can file 90 days before the 3-year anniversary. So if you file 2 years and 9 months and you get caught in a month where there's 31 days, then you're at 91 or 92 days before the 3-year anniversary, your case would be denied. So make sure you count 90 days before the 3-year anniversary. It's not 2 years, 9 months, or it's 2 years, 9 months, and 3 days. Yes, you need to remain in the USA. You can travel abroad. You don't need to stay in the US every day. Let me tell you what the laws are. You have to be in the United States for more time than you are outside of the United States. You have to be no trip more than 6 months at a time, and you have to be living in the state where you're filing for at least 90 days. So you can take short trips abroad. T Capital with a question. I'm married to the late U.S. citizen with approved I-130. ICE removed to a third country on an aggravated felony charge. I have withholding a removal in CAT. The embassy denied the non-immigrant visa, saying conviction was a crime of moral turpitude. What should I do? Well, how did ICE removed you to a third country, even though you had withholding removal in CAT? Wow, that is very harsh. I think, T Capital, that you would need to make an appointment with me, and we need to find out more about what happened with your case. Ray M. My mom filed for my sibling over 21 September 14th, 2014. The I-130 was approved, and the case was transferred to the National Visa Center. Which column should I use to see if the priority date is current? They are in Jamaica. The column you use is all other countries. They are unmarried. You would be picking the the F1 category, all other countries. And we said it was July 2014. So you're only a couple months away. Mulu Nude. Hi, my husband is American and I'm Ethiopian. He applied a green card. I got my I-130 approved. I got my email from the NBC. NBC is the National Broadcasting Corporation. I believe you mean the National Visa Center, which is the NVC, to file a form. Do I send my police certificate now or when I go for the interview? You send the police certificates to the National Visa Center when they request it. George, hi, Uncle Brad. Can I have my I-45 green card interview expedited because my wife is getting deployed for 14 months? Yes, if you get something from the military saying she's being deployed, send it into immigration and request an expedite. They may very well do it. Shiny. I'm an L2 EAD and I claimed unemployment insurance as I got impacted due to coronavirus. Is this a public charge and will I have a problem? My I-45 is based on my husband's employment-based green card. No, it's not a problem. And just as an explanation for Shiny, an L2 is an intra-company transferee. Her husband is the intra-company transferee. She got her work permit as a spouse of the intra-company transferee. It will not affect your ultimate case. Now, if your husband loses his job, that's a different problem. But for you, it's okay. A Better Tomorrow has a question. Hey, Brad, do you think there's going to be a change in religious worker cases? No, I don't think so. Not at the moment. Donique Williams. Hello, Brad. We spoke a while back, Ray, immigration issues. My question today is, how do I go about getting an infant a green card? I don't know where this infant is. I don't know what your relationship is to this infant. I need to know a lot more information. You may want to, if you already spoke to me, you may want to call me again. Miloslav Minkov with another pre-comment of the day. I love your show. You're amazing. Thank you for all your help and your information with 3 bicep curls. Thank you very much. Charlie Chocolate. Hi, Brad. What do officers usually question you on a VAWA interview? They question you on proof that it was a bona fide marriage. They question you on the abuse. They question you on your good moral character. They question you if you've ever had any criminal issues, you ever committed fraud. They want to know that what you claimed in your VAWA application is true. So they're going to ask you questions that may even trip you up. So they need to see a credible person in front of them in order for you to get your green card. Uncle Brad, can you please ask the Magic 8 Ball if they're going to reopen for in-person visits as scheduled? I don't need to ask the Magic 8 Ball. The most recent announcements are that the immigration courts are going to open up the end of May. I think I saw May 29th, but it could be May 28th, the last couple of days of May. And now I see that USCIS is going to open up early June. And I believe, I remember the date seeing June 4th, but it could have been June 3rd, right around that time. So that's what they are now saying. They pushed it off another month. Rupan Thakador with a question. Hi, I'm a U.S. citizen green card holder. I'm a USA green card holder. Excuse me. My foreign spouse waiting for an interview date from the NVC. If I get unemployment benefits for the coronavirus, is that a public charge? It's not public charge. Unemployment benefits is not public charge. But if you're not working, then it could be a problem with the affidavit of support. You have no job. So it's not about, so you won't be denied because you're getting government assistance, but you're going to be denied because you got no job. So hopefully you got a second good affidavit of support. Robert Williams with a question. Hey, I'm waiting to do my green card interview and recently got caught with less than an ounce of marijuana as well as a digital scale. How bad does that affect my green card? Well, it affects it bad enough that makes you inadmissible and ineligible for a green card without a waiver. So you are going to need a good lawyer. I always say, and it's even now, marijuana in New York is decriminalized. But listen, if you have an immigration issue, I'm not telling anyone not to smoke. Okay, I'm not Pope Francis. But what I am telling you is smoke inside and then walk outside. Don't smoke outside, especially if you're an immigrant. So, like what happened to Robert Williams, tiny little joint, causes huge problem now with immigration. George, Hi, Uncle Brad. My wife just learned that she will be deployed in 4 months. I've been interviewed by green card. Okay, we answered that already. Let's see what else we got here. Azam Ali, all the way at the end, Lee. Hi, Uncle Brad. Do you think is a good time to file asylum as an Indian Muslim? What kind of proof do you need for a strong case? You need proof that you are being discriminated against as an Indian Muslim. So I don't know anything about your case, and I don't know if there's other parts in India that you can move to that you would not be discriminated against. And that basically it's not discrimination, it's past persecution, if you want to know the exact thing. So is it a good time? Generally, no, it's not a good time to file for asylum, but if you have a good case, it's always a good time. Curly Girl Shawarma, I heard they can't ask about your spouse in abuse in a VAWA interview. They can ask about anything they want in an adjustment interview. What they can't do is ask your spouse to verify whether or not you were in a bona fide marriage, or whether what you're claiming is true. But certainly they can ask anything they want in an interview. I don't think that they're going to make you go into a traumatic retelling of the abuse, but they could certainly ask about it. Red Rose, I lost track. Are we answering YouTube questions or Facebook? We're answering YouTube right now. I'm going to get back to Facebook in a little bit. Danny Rosal, question, can I bring my wife to the USA if I'm a citizen? Yes. Ricardo Mendoza, hi, Brad. We have a consultation before, and I was wondering, can a theft charge be a problem even if a waiver is applied? Well, if you get a waiver for it, it's not a problem, but a theft charge could make you inadmissible. It could make you deportable, and certainly you would need to get a waiver, and a waiver is not just like a snap your finger. Waiver's hard to get. Opal Ewing, does a Marie work in your office? I got a call from her. Yes, Marie does work in my office, Marie LaFleur. It's perfectly okay to talk to Marie. And anything else here? Queen Joe, last question on YouTube. I had a VAWA interview since 2018. I haven't heard back from them yet. Please, what do I do? If it's been more than a year, you should be contacting me. And it sounds like it's been more than a year. Contact me. We've got to start threatening a mandamus against them. They can't hold your case forever. Let's go quickly back to Facebook and see if I missed anybody. Dorothy Martin, my sister is living in Florida. Her husband is filing for her. Can he file for her kids in Jamaica at the same time? If the kids are under 18 at the time of marriage and they're now under 21, the answer is yes, you can file separate I-130s. The kids will get here in about a year. Sarah Murphy, if the current wait time for a 601 waiver, and by the way, if the kids are over 21 and the marriage happened before 18, he could file too, but it's going to take 6-7 years. Sarah Murphy, if the current wait time for a 601 waiver is 6 to 8 months, do you think filing for mandamus? I answered that question already. Let's see. Rosalie Smits. Hi, Brad. My I-130 is being approved, and my approval has been sent to the National Visa Center Department, so I'm waiting on mail to come to me in Jamaica. They say I should hear from them in 30 days. Okay. Why not? That was just a statement, not a question. Uncle Brad, Moya Douglas, my kid's I-130 was approved from Jamaica, but her passport got lost. What can I do? Got to apply for a new passport or some sort of travel document from Jamaica. Sometimes they'll give you a travel document in lieu of a passport if it takes time, but you got to get a new passport. If you're in Jamaica, you go to the Jamaican authorities in Jamaica. If you're here in the United States, go to the Jamaican consulate, but somehow you got to call them. I'm sure there's an emergency number for travel. Call the Jamaican consulate, even though they may not be open. Cardo Hall, hey, Brad, I'm married to a U.S. citizen, and we have a 30-year age difference with my spouse being older. I think I answered that, Cardo. It's perfectly okay to be married to someone 30 years older. Just be prepared to prove it's a bona fide marriage. They're certainly going to give you a much longer interview, a more thorough interview than if you were 3 years apart. 30 years apart is certainly a red flag, but if you live together, it's a real marriage, you love each other, why not? Samuel Onagari, hi, Uncle Brad Bernstein. I have a friend of mine who had a girlfriend and had a green card and applied for citizenship and was denied a passport because of the child support arrears. Any advice on this? Yeah, you got to get the child support arrears taken care of. Get a letter from the mother that she's satisfied with the child support. Get the mother to say you've paid her in full. and if the mother says, I'm satisfied, I'm paid in full, you can go to family court and get the arrears erased. I mean, you can make a deal with the mother. That's what I'm saying. Make a deal with the mother, or get on a payment plan. If you get on a payment plan for arrears, that would work also. Samuel Testafi, Uncle Brad, can you say something about the form I-944? Yes, the form I-944 is the new form from Donald Trump that they want you to prove that you can self-support yourself here without going on government assistance. That's on top of the affidavits of support that you already are getting from your sponsor and co-sponsor. That's something based on information about you, that you have medical insurance, you have skills, you have education, that you would be able to be self-supportive here in the United States. Andrea Wilson with the question, I live in the Virgin Islands, but I'm working in the Virgin Islands. I live in the Virgin Islands, but I'm working in the Virgin Islands on a J1. Okay? As soon as I get the waiver I filed for, then I will make preparations to move to the U.S. mainland. Oh, I understand. She's on a J1 and waiting on her waiver. Okay, I understand that. At the moment, you don't, and that was with her tax question. At the moment, you don't need to file a joint tax return because your husband's not filing for you. Once you get the waiver and then move to the mainland, then you would file jointly with him. At the moment, I guess I would file married filing separately because you're not living together. Monica Gilchrist Alvaranga. I filed Form 601. How long does it take to come back? It was filed 3 months ago. It's taking about 9 to 12 months. Claudine Miller Buchanan. Hi, I'm Jamaican. Does the 60-day suspension on the issuance of certain immigration green cards affect those persons who have applied for special immigrant visas, applied from 2018, got the first letter, still waiting on the second? Might it be disapproved due to the 60-day suspension? No. The special immigrant visa will be approved, but yes, it does apply to special immigrant visas applying outside of the United States. If you're applying in the United States, it does not apply whatsoever. It only applies outside of the United States, and yes, it's only for 60 days. Carla Gahn. Hello, Brad. I had a mastectomy in March, and I have been out of work recovering until now. My husband had some criminal issues over 16 years ago. I'm the only income in the household with 4 children. Can anything be done for him to adjust his status? Yes. File an adjustment, get a second affidavit of support. Hopefully his criminal record from 16 years ago will not hinder him from getting his green card. I would need to see his disposition. And hopefully he's working and he can self-support himself eventually at some point when he gets a work permit, or he can show he has some sort of skills or education that he would be able to get a job. Talisha Optimistic Dobson with a question. Hi, Brad. My friend came on a K-1 visa, got married within 90 days and filed the I-45. However, she recently found out she's pregnant. Would she be eligible to apply for Medicaid? Yes, she can apply for Medicaid. She will not be inadmissible. Getting Medicaid for an unborn child is perfectly okay. And you can keep the Medicaid for yourself for up to 4 weeks after the birth. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.